My job is to get information out there the way I see it, through my lens, my vision. And then people who can vibe with that, agree or disagree. But yeah, that's my role. Okay, but that just clears up that. But to get back to the point at hand, McGirt said there's two things. McGirt said there's two things that he could fix. And I put it to you, everybody listening, the present and the future, I put it to you that one of the most crucial things, we're talking about Deontay Wilder fixes, one of the most crucial things, if not the most, that Deontay Wilder needs to address. Whether he can do it successfully is a different matter. It's the footwork. It's the footwork that had him in trouble all night. His footwork is absolutely terrible and atrocious. I would say it's amateurish. Terrible.
Disrespecting all the fantastic amateur boxers out there.
Right? Yeah, it's a disrespect to the amateurs, unintended, I assure you. But yeah, terrible. It's terrible.
He's crossing his feet over.
Yeah.
He's crossing his feet over when he's stepping backwards.
It's actually a terrible insult to amateurs. It's I can't even
go to a good amateur gym, they'll teach you footwork before they teach you how to throw a punch.
Yeah. It's utterly bizarre. It's so poor, it's not even funny. And I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, that one of the key things Buddy McGirt is talking about, there's two primary things that you need to fix. And I put it to you that foot movement would have to be right up there at the top of the tree. John D. Lee.
100% he needs to sort his footwork out, but the other thing he needs to sort out is his jab.
Oh, yeah, well.
So it's like the most two fundamental basic tools that you need. You need to try and make them serviceable against somebody who is good at both of those. I mean, I don't know how much I like Tyson Fury's jab, but it's definitely.
But it works.
It works. He's proven over the years that he's got an effective jab. And as for his footwork, I mean, he's also proven he's got very effective footwork. So, I mean, how's Deontay Wilder going to catch up from worse than novice level in the most basic fundamental things that a boxer needs to somebody who that's what he's good at?
Yeah.
And the other thing that he needs to sort out is there's a massive tell on his right hand.
T-E-double-L. Is that what you said? Tell. Okay, sorry. I thought you said tell. Yeah. Tell. Yeah, I got you. T-E-double-L. Yeah. Yeah. It's a massive tell. It shows.
So, and when you've got the reach disadvantage, Tyson hasn't even got to move that far to get out of the way of it.
Yes.
So I just, it's a lot of work. Let's put it like that. There's a lot of work to be done. I know I'm in the minority, but I'm not convinced his right hand's that hard anyway.
No, you've been saying that for a long time. It has to be said. You one of the first people I heard saying that Deontay Wilder's right hand might not be all that.
Let's put it like this, right? Joseph Parker's not really considered a big puncher, is he?
True.
When he was fighting lower tier opposition, he had a 100% knockout rate.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder never steps up his competition. No wonder he's got such a good knockout rate.
Yeah, 100%. Makes total sense. And that's why when people say, yeah, but look at what he's done. He's been a champion for 5 years. He's fought 40 people or 42 people or, before the last of Tyson Fury, like 42 people. And he's been a champion for 5 years. And look at his knockout ratio. When the power of the knockout punch was being calculated, he was right up there with Frank Bruno. Might have been a place behind him or a place ahead. Frank Bruno was 3 in those power rankings. And I said, no, you can't do that because he hasn't fought the caliber of opponent to merit being ranked amongst guys who are fighting top caliber opponents, which he has not been doing. He's done it once, Once he fought top, maybe okay, one top caliber. I mean, Tyson Fury, you have to rate him as a top caliber. I mean, he's a lineal champ. Although I think that fight with Klitschko should have been a no contest due to his drug uses before and after. The Christian,
I'll give Tyson his credit for that because it's hard
well,
to beat Vladimir.
well, yeah, he did it. He did it. Even though I say that should be a no contest, it should. He did it. He did it. He beat the man in front of him. That man was Vladimir Klitschko, and boom.
But that's the only. Who else has Fury beat apart from Wilder and Klitschko?
Chisora is his next best win after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many people got Chisora in the top 10 now?
Well, you know, he's not the highest caliber fruit. So,
I like Derek. I always
I like him.
Yeah, Derek's an entertaining fighter.
Yeah,
good value.
Yeah, but he hasn't been a consensus top 10 over the last 5 years, and so 3 years or 2 years. I mean,
when Fury fought him, he still wasn't really in the top 10. It's going back quite a long time now, isn't it?
It is. 6 or 7 years ago. But yeah, so Fury, Wilder. I mean, getting back to Wilder, who's he fought? A bunch of nobodies. Let's be honest, a bunch of nobodies. Then he stepped up with Stavern, his first top 10 win.
But I mean, even who's Stavern ever beat?
And who's Stavern ever beat? So Stavern,
it's based on beat Chris Ariel.
Yeah. So when you say Stavern, when I include Stavern in his as a top 10, that's a generous. That when anybody says Stavern was top 10, they're being very generous with Stavern the first time around. Of course, the second time around, I don't even know if Stavern was ranked. So he beat Stavern, who people generously say might have been a top 10 caliber, may have been, potentially, possibly. And then he beat Luis Ortiz. So that's a questionable one. Then he beat Luis Ortiz. Fair enough. I'll give him that. Luis Ortiz, top 10. Give him that. So he's beat Luis Ortiz. And, that's all. That might be his only top 10 win. If you take out Stavern. His only top 10 win was 2 fights against Luis Ortiz. But I'm not going to say that I'm going to include Stavern.
Well, all right, if you're going to be generous about it, he's knocked out one top 10 fighter. Knocked
out. One knockout on the TKO. Is that what you're saying?
No, because I'm not having Ortiz as a top 10 fighter with the second fight, man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Boom. So that's his best win.
Is Ortiz still listed in top 10s at the moment?
Yes, I think he is. Let me just.
Because after he lost to Wilder, he fought Rizwan Kajano, Hammer, and Kaufman.
What is the point if you're showing what you're gonna do? What you're gonna do?
Particularly bearing in mind the fact that Deontay is the smaller man.
He's a smaller man.
So Tyson doesn't have, for most of the time, Deontay Wilder's got the reach and height advantage.
Most of the time.
So even if people can read his right hand, for them to be effective, they've got to be coming inside. They've got to be coming towards him.
Yeah.
So it's a bit harder to get away. But for Tyson, who can jab him when he's out of Wilder's range, it's a tiny step backwards every time he cocks his right hand.
Yeah. His finesse, his finesse, range is very, very important. And unfortunately for Deontay Wilder, he's been fighting low-hanging fruit, and now he gets up there somebody with vast experience. He's all at sea. Getting into the chat, first thing he needs to learn is how to box. He had far too many easy fights. Absolutely far too many easy fights. Viso up in the building. Wilder had the most padded record of any heavyweight boxing champ in a living memory. 100. Just before Fury, Wilder 2, many US so-called experts on the mainstream media are rating Wilder as one of the very top in history. I started commenting on that, but I forgot to finish it. Okay, so, and I think that's my point. That was one of my points when the so-called experts were talking about, he's going to the hardest in history. He's probably the hardest. No, they were saying he's the hardest heavyweight puncher in history. And my problem with that, and I think it's come to fruition, is that you can show and tell, you can see for yourself. My problem with that is that you can't say that a man who's fighting low-hanging fruit because he's knocking him out, you can't then turn around and say, well, he's the best heavyweight puncher ever. You can't do that against low-hanging fruit. If he did that against quality opponents, that would be a different matter. But he has not done that.
How are you going to compare it to what George Foreman's done?
It's laughable. It's laughable that people would actually compare to do that and
You
have
know,
the
I mean,
capacity to do that.
you know, arguably, if you're going to really say people, the other people up there are probably Foreman, possibly Sonny Liston, although the size difference in those days is a bit, skews it a bit.
Yeah.
But Foreman did it in 2 eras.
Yes. Yes.
You know, if Holyfield's saying it's the hardest punch he's ever had,
yeah,
it was clearly the hardest puncher of the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's not forget Shavers.
Yeah, I always think Shavers is a bit like Deontay Wilder, though.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that.
He never really knocked out the top people, did he?
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Defense for sure. Yeah, what's his defense? Okay, John's come up with 2. I'll come up with 2. I say his footwork and his defense. What kind of defense is that? Just putting your hands up like two baseball bats at the side of your head. What about coming round through the pipe right there? Look, where's my defense? What about the face? What about going around the ear? Yeah, look at the earmuffs. Yeah, so this is his defense. That's his defense right there.
I can tell you the sort of defense it is, Rafi. It's the defense of a tall man that used to fight in shorter fighters with no reach.
Yeah.
So as soon as he fought Tyson Fury, it was the wrong thing to be doing.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious when you look at his defense. Look at that. That's his defense. What about the parry? What about the parry? Remember the parry? What about the parry and the slip? What about the parry and then footwork? Parry, slip, footwork. What about that? What about all that? Is that out of the question? 1, you're not parrying. 1, you're not slipping. And 3, that's 2. 1, you're not parrying. 2, you're not slipping. And 3, you got no footwork. How about that? Okay, so let's go on with the list. Let's get deeper. Right, so the footwork. I said the footwork. Yeah? Next, I'm going to say the parry. And then I'm going to say the footwork. I'm going to say the footwork. Parry. Slip.
What about just a decent guard before you try and get him doing anything too difficult, right?
Well, what I always say with everything, soccer, football, as we know it's soccer or whatever, I always say chess. I always say if your defense is tight, if you know how to defend, then that puts you in a better position to attack.
So he hasn't even got a decent guard.
Yeah, what is decent? I mean, you know, he's in trouble. He's struggling all over the pitch. You pick up you look at any area, and he's struggling. He's even struggling with his best tool. So, footwork, parry, slip. Learn how to actually slip a punch. Now, see a punch and slip it. You know, parry it, slip. It's almost like a Mr. Miyagi move. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Yeah? Slow motion. Watch the Matrix. Watch the Matrix. Watch how he dodges the bullets. Watch the Matrix. Slip, parry, slip, footwork, different angle, bam, bam, bam. Then your jab comes in. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam.
He backs up in straight lines as well, doesn't he?
Backs up in straight lines, and he doesn't even move his feet properly when he's doing a straight line. So he's doing something he shouldn't do. He's doing something he shouldn't do anyway, and then he does it poorly.